Hello and welcome to the Friday Experience. My name is Pastor Lawrence Dufront. I will be your host for the day. Listen, if you haven't already, please text LSMin to 24251 so that you can join our text group. Didn't mean to put that up there. There we go. Also, join. Man, my pad is acting up. Pause. Also, join the Friday Experience group if you haven't already on Facebook. Um, and if you feel led to donate to the ministry, you can donate through Cash App, or you can go to the website www.lawrencefront.com. How y'all doing? Happy Sabbath to those of you who believe in the Sabbath. I see my brothers on here. What's going on, bro? Happy Sabbath. Good to see you. I'm glad that you are able to join us today. I see some other people that are on that ain't saying nothing to me. Let me hear you guys. How y'all doing? How y'all feeling? There we go. There we go. I see Sheila on here. It's good to see you, Sheila. Enjoying your new baby. Ha 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 ha. Yo, have y'all been donating? Y'all need to make sure that y'all support Sheila as she is a new mother, and she could all parents could use a little financial blessings here and there because kids are a little expensive. You feel me? All right, good. My brother said that he's doing good. That's awesome. Listen, y'all, we're gonna have a conversation today. Hey, Tamara, what's going on? Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you. Glad you were able to make it. We're gonna have a conversation today. I'm not gonna go so teachy, so biblical. Well, I mean, I'm gonna use the Bible a little bit, right? But I'm not gonna be. I'm not gonna do like a workshop like I did on witchcraft. How many of y'all watched that video on witchcraft? Man, I need y'all to watch that. It's important because it can help set straight a lot of the misconceptions, and hopefully settle a lot of the fears, particularly of Christians as it pertains to the way that this world works, right? And that's what we're going to talk about a little bit today, as I did with universal law, because a lot of believers don't quite understand the way the world works, because there are some things that there are certain ideas or understandings about the world that was demonized by those who wanted to convince you that we were devil worshippers. All right. Tamira said that she saw it. That's good. That's good. And of course, if y'all have any questions, y'all want to DM me, hit me up, because I want to make sure y'all got clarity. But there are certain things that the colonizers, the abusers, they wanted to convince us that our people did not know God, right? They wanted to convince us, and by our people, I'm talking about melanated people, African people, Asiatic, black man, you feel me? And women, of course. When we say man, I'm talking about humanity, not just one one gender. The original human being, right? They wanted to convince us that we didn't know God, which already doesn't make sense, because as original beings, we were the first to know God. We were the ones created in the image of God. And this is not to say that those who are not melanated are not created in the image of God, but those who are melanated are in fact the original people of the world. That is scientifically proven. It is no longer an opinion. And if you believe that the Bible contains truth, then it's right there in your scriptures. Everything started in Africa and then it restarted in Africa, right? And so when you go back to your own scriptures, you see that. Therefore, science has found the first human beings, the African, the human remains of the first human being, what they would call the first human being, the oldest ever found. Those remains are found in Africa. The black woman is the only woman with what they call the Eve mitochondria, right? The Eve mitochondria genetics, where all races can come from the black woman by herself, right? And so it's been proven over and over again. This is no longer an opinion, and if that offends you, then you're a racist. Sorry, I gotta tell you, if you're offended that that black people are the original people, then you're a racist. And it makes you feel bad. It challenges your white supremacy, and it should. I'm doing good work today, doing the Lord's work today. I should challenge your white supremacy if you feel offended by that. And if you're a black person who feel offended by that, you have been experiencing so much trauma that the idea that you can look like God, I know it can be such a crazy phenomenon, but it is the truth nonetheless. And of course, God is not flesh, so we don't look like God in the sense of God being black. Jesus was black. But we look like God in terms of we We have his character, his authority, et cetera, et cetera. Some of his characteristics we possess as human beings. I talk about all that in the Identity series, or Identity Crisis, whatever. So you can go and check that out for yourself. I see my mom is on the line. It's good to see you, Mom. And so, yes, I want to talk today a little bit about universal law. Universal law. What I mean by universal law, this is what I mean. There is a way that the world works, regardless of your spiritual beliefs, regardless of the name of the God that you use, regardless of the religion that you claim. The world works a certain way, right? God designed the creator, the most high, designed this world to function um in a specific order, right? God is, me and the wife who was talking, and I was saying how having your life in order is probably one of the most godlike things you can do, because God sets everything in order, right? There is a way that this world works. There's a way that this realm works. There's a way that this dimension works, regardless of what you believe. Even if you don't believe in God, there are these laws that are in place. They cannot be broken. There is no way that you can violate these laws. These are laws that no matter what you believe, no matter what you say you believe, no matter what religion you say you're a part of, this is how the world works. And I want to have this conversation with our community, because number one, our community is mixed of different people groups. Everybody who watches the Friday Experience is not necessarily a Christian. Right. Everyone who watches the Friday Experience does not necessarily believe in the Messiah the way that I do and the way that some of us do. And that's okay. They're still welcome. You guys are still welcome. If you're a Muslim, if you're a Buddhist, if you're a Hindu, whatever your traditions are, you're still welcome, because the Friday Experience is about committing ourselves to the Most High, committing ourselves to the source, to the creator of all things. If you are in line with that, then you are, in fact, in the right place. All right. So this isn't a Christian specific group, but because I do believe in the Messiah, when I'm doing my teaching and facilitating conversation, I'm gonna pull from my tradition, right? You're not gonna make me feel a way about that, because that's what I'm gonna do. But that is never to ignore or to disrespect or to minimize any other perspective, because for the most part there are more similarities than there are differences. With that said, universal law does not care what you believe in. Universal law does not care what you claim to be. Universal law doesn't work different for Christians versus Muslims or versus Buddhists or versus atheists, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Universal law is just that. It's universal. They are rather, the laws that were already in place that govern our reality. And so I want to discuss it, because in the Christian tradition, most churches never touch this. They never touch the reality that certain laws are universal. All right, that certain laws, you don't have to be a Christian to benefit from them, and if you are a Christian, you don't gotta run from them, right? Because these are just for everybody. It's for everybody that lives in this existence. It's very similar to like the law of gravity, for example. The law of gravity is a natural law. You cannot break the law of gravity. It is here to stay. It is the way the world functions. Now, you're not too late, Tanya. It's all good. It's good to see you though. You may not call it gravity. You may want to call it something else. It's fine. We're not going to see, and that's the beauty about universal laws. We're not going to argue terms. We're going to deal with concepts, right? Whether you believe in gravity or not, there is a force that pulls everything back down, right? And so when an airplane is flying, it is not going against the law of gravity. Actually, what the airplane is doing, it is working with the laws of aerodynamics. And when you understand the laws of aerodynamics, then you understand the forces that can help lift you up. So there's a force that pulls you down, and then there are forces that lift you up, right? Universal. Doesn't matter what you believe. It's already been tested. It's been proven. It is so concrete that only ignorance and foolishness would try to debate the reality of certain laws. You get what I'm saying? And so universal laws are one of those. Now, they're going to sound like opinions for those who do not know the laws. And so I'm not going to do so much proving. I'll answer questions, though. I'm always down for answering questions, but I'm not going to do a lot of proving. I'm going to do more illustrating, because what I want you to do is homework. I haven't given y'all homework in man long. I want you guys to investigate some of these laws. And let me also say this. I'm not going to go through all the laws, primarily because a lot of them are debated, and some of them are nuanced. So I'm gonna so if you already know about universal laws, don't get mad at me that I mixed two laws together into one in my explanation, because once again, I'm not trying to be so scholarly this time. I gave y'all a lot when I did the witchcraft video. Now I just want to have a regular conversation. Just want to have a regular conversation with my family. And so I'm not gonna go too scholarly. I'm not going to be too technical. So if I combine, sorry, I'm moving my incense on the other side because I don't like the way the smoke is moving on that other side. So I'm not going to get a lot of proving. So if I say something and you just disagree, you could say you disagree. That's fine. But it won't change anything, right? It's not going to change anything, because these are not opinions. These are not beliefs. I'm just going to share with you how this world works. My homework for you is to investigate them, to investigate if you can see how it is in work in other areas of your life personally, right? Because I'm not big on just knowledge, right? I'm not big on just talking about random stuff and sounding smart. I want this information to benefit your life, to benefit your practices, whatever that may be. And so if you're a person of prayer, there's going to be certain laws that's going to help you with prayer. If you are a person of war, let's even say, there's certain laws that's going to help you with war. But more importantly, if there are things that you're looking for in this world, there are laws that are already in place to help you get them. I'm gonna say that again, because some people, you need help believing this. I'm gonna say it this way: it's not the Most High's intention for you to lack in anything. Okay, he God did not place you in this world with everything so you can lack in anything. The reason why many of us are lacking is simply because we don't understand how things work. And I almost jumped ahead. I almost gave an example of a law. I'm gonna save it. So I'm gonna try to do a quick summary of multiple laws, and I might mix them together so that we can have a conversation. But what I need to do, I need you guys to speak to me to let me know that you're getting it, or if you're confused. If I lose you somewhere, I need you to talk to me and let me know, hey, I didn't quite get that. Break it down further. I have no problems taking time. I have no problems even creating a part two if I don't get to everything that I want to get to. I'm only going to deal with certain laws that I believe is more relevant and more practical. Are they all important? Yeah, but you can look this stuff up. This isn't stuff that I am making up out of myself. And people have their different perspectives on it. You can do your own homework if you really want to go deeper than what we do here. But I think I'm going to give y'all enough to at least work with. So the first law I want to deal with, because it's foundational to all the other laws. And if I skip over this law, I will do you a disservice. The first law is the law of oneness. I want everybody to write oneness. The law of oneness, what some would call the law of oneness. Once again, the terms, I might make up different terms because I'm not, discussing terms. I'm discussing concepts. The law of oneness. Okay, so the law of oneness says that everything that is visible and invisible, everything that is created, everything that has been created, and anything that will be created is created and sustained by the same force or being or entity or whatever. But whatever word you want to work with, everything that exists, whether invisible or invisible, is held together. It is sustained. It is manifest. It is made visible. It remains invisible. It exists and is remaining, is held together by the same source, by the same force, by the same source, by the same entity, by the same being. And so the force that is keeping the computer together, right? Because if there wasn't any force keeping the computer together, it would all just fall apart. It would evaporate, whatever the case is. The force that's keeping the computer together is the same force that's keeping me together. It's the same force or entity that's keeping you together. It's the same force that's keeping the planets in alignment. It's the same force that controls how gravity works. It's the same force that is keeping your mind in check, that's governing your thoughts, that's ensuring that you have language. The same force that is controlling the ocean. Like it's the same force acting differently, right? Acting differently, but it is in fact one source. Okay. And so Colossians says something. Paul says something in Colossians where he said, where is the verse? He said, I can't even find the verse, and I thought I had it up. Pretty much, it's, oh yeah, here it is. It says, for by him being in this context, him being Christ, for by him all things were created, both in the heavens, which is not the heaven like we understand where people go after they die, but heaven in the sense of the atmosphere, the sky. Okay, the atmosphere. Heaven can also mean the atmosphere, the space that is above and around us, right? Okay, so for by him all things were created, both in the heavens and on earth, invisible and invisible, whether thrones or dominions or rulers or authorities, and that's dealing with spirits. All things have been created through him and for him, right? And so, what this is saying pretty much is that no matter what it is, it was all created by the same by Christ, but by the same source. And then it says, he is before all things, or he existed before all things, and in him all things are held together, or in him all things are sustained, right? And so what Paul was doing was Paul was taking an idea of universal law that already existed, right? It was not nothing new, and it's not something uniquely Hebrew or Christian. It is an idea that already existed in the ancient realm, where there was a force and an entity that they already believed held everything together. And believed is the wrong word. It's already been proven that that when you break everything down to a molecular level, and even lower than that to an energetic level, we're all the same essence, we're all the same substance, but we are organized differently. Did I lose anybody? If you're with me, say yes. And so we are organized differently. um some 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 of us, our some beings, the consciousness is seen more clearly than others, right? But in essence, in energy, in substance, in material, I'm trying to find a word to help us understand, whether you're a rock or a human, the same force is responsible for not just your creation, but for you being sustained. The same force. And so now, with that being a law, it's understood it is a law. It's not a belief. It is a law. With that being said, now the question comes into what makes us different. If we're all coming from the same source, if we're all created by the same source, if we're all being sustained by the same source, then where do the differences come? Why is a rock a rock, and why is a human, and why is a bird, right? And so we could describe it, meaning birds look like this, birds have these features, humans have these features. Those are descriptions, but they don't explain the why. How does the same force or the same energy look different everywhere? Everywhere. Everything ultimately is made up of atoms, and even smaller than that, because atoms is made up of energy. And I'm gonna keep saying that because energy is the key. So if everything is energy, why does the energy look different from substance to substance, from being to being, from thing to thing? Why are substances invisible and other substances visible? Why are certain colors those colors, right? Why are certain sounds those sounds? Because these things are also created by the same force. So now we can get to the law of vibration, right? So you have the law of oneness, which lets you know that we're all connected. Because that's the key. I didn't say it, but now I can say it. Because Christ, well, the scriptures say Christ, but because of this force that connects everything, that is the responsibility of everything, that is sustaining everything, it's the one force, it's the same force. Because this force is connected to everything in order to sustain it, maintain it, create it, then we are connected to each other by means of that same force, right? Oh, this is good. So this is why we're able to feel one another. This is why you can look at somebody, and if you're intentional, you can feel what they feel, because when you look at them intentionally with the intent of connecting with them, then that connection begins to give you the messages that they are putting out, because you're intentional. Now when you're not intentional and you're distracted, or you have, you're focused on other things, then you're going to miss that, because you're literally connected to everything. And so imagine imagine being able to feel and sense everything simultaneously. I think some people with ADHD, it's not a sickness, rather it's a condition of sensing everything around them. That's why they're so easily distracted. Now that's me. Now that was my opinion, but I think it makes some sense, right? They sense everything around them, and because their minds are trying to focus on everything it's sensing, what looks like distraction is actually sensitivity to environment, right? Woo. But some of us, we're not so sensitive, and so we miss the things happening around us. And then there's those of us who have a good balance in which we can kind of control to a degree what we sense and what we respond to. Okay, Anita, are we talking about when spirituality meets evolution? This is good. No, we're not talking about that. We're not talking about that. We're going to talk about universal law, but that's a good one. That is a good one. I might tap on it a little bit here or there, but I'm not. I'm going to try to explain it on a basic level so that we can at least have a foundation. That way, if I deal with it later, I can reference this video and tell people, look, if you get lost, watch this video, right? And then we can go a little further. But that is something good that we should talk about. So, since you are connected to everything, and the scriptures would say the connection to everything is Christ. That's what the scriptures would say. So watch what Paul does. Paul makes Christ universal. Paul doesn't say Christ only keeps together the Christian, or Christ only keeps together the believer, or Christ only keeps together those who have faith, right? No. What Paul says is Christ keeps everything, everyone, visible or invisible, thrones, dominions, authority, doesn't matter. If it exists, based on our understanding of existence, then Christ created that, and Christ is sustaining that. And so what Paul actually did was make Christ universal. Paul was trying to let the people know that this Christ that we serve is not just a man who came and died and rose, but that this Christ who came, died, and rose is actually the source of all things. The source of all things manifests in a human form and did a specific work for our salvation. But that same force that you've been interacting with, that is Christ. Because some people were interacting with this oneness, bringing yourself to a consciousness of the source. It is through this law of oneness that so-called psychics are able to work. They're able to work because they're able to tap into a realm that is connected to you. But if you ever deal with someone who has psychic ability, I know Christians, that's witchcraft. Make sure you watch my witchcraft video. Those who are in tune to that hidden stuff, okay, I'll say prophets, because believers like prophets. Same thing. Those who are prophetic, they are given a gift where they can tap into a realm where they're able to see the existence of something that's not directly in front of them. Because in this realm, time is of no. What is time now? When you're dealing with the source of all things, then whatever God was intending to do within the realm of God, it's already done, because time is of no essence to the Most High. And so when you're in a prophetic state, what is happening is you are entering into a space of the oneness, where now you can perceive things from a subtle place because you're already connected to it. So when someone who is prophetic is able to tell you what's going on in your life, the reason why they're able to do it is because a connection was already established. And when you give that person permission, which you can do in various ways, you give a person permission to tap into your specific vibration. Now we're going to the law of vibration. Into your specific frequency, they are able to see what's happening within you and around you. That is how the prophetic works. The prophetic is tapping into your signal, into your vibration, to your frequency. And now, because of the permission you gave, they're able to see what's happening within you and around you, everything that's connected to you. So let's do a vibration. Did I lose anybody? Because look, I'm talking about some stuff that y'all not used to talking. So I need to know that y'all still with me. When y'all get quiet, I get nervous. All right, so what is vibration? Vibration, in a very basic term, it is the speed or the rate in which energy is moving. Very basic. It is the speed or the rate in which energy is moving. Why is that important? Because everything is energy. And so as the energy moves in various speeds and rates, that speed and that rate produces or manifests, creates something. What that something is depends on what's vibrating. So you might have learned in school, right? The states of matter, right? You might have learned that. The states of matter. And so if you have H2O, which is water, water can exist as ice, which is a solid form, as gas, which is like vapor, then as liquid, which is water, right? Those are the three states of matter, as far as we're taught: solid, liquid, gas. But it's always water. And what makes it water is its molecular construction. The molecular construction causes that construction causes it to vibrate within itself a certain way, which produces water. And if it vibrates really fast, then you got vapors. If it vibrates really slow, then you have ice. If it vibrates somewhere in the middle, you have water. But within itself, it's also vibrating. So it's vibrating. It's so hard to explain, but it's bouncing off of the other things. Because this is good. It's vibrating off of the other structures that look like it, and they're all coming together, and they're all vibrating by themselves, but then they're all vibrating off of each other. And the collection of these things is what creates what we see. If there's not enough of them collected, then we won't see it, because we only see the abundance of things. We're conditioned. I need to write this down. We're conditioned to see abundance. Write that down. That's important. So as these molecules come together, they're all the same molecule. They're all shaped the same way. They all have a very similar charge. And so they're going to be the same thing. And as they come together, you're now seeing in a larger term, in a larger view, what that small thing is. So it's the same thing with your human body. You're made up literally of trillions of cells. Trillions of cells. You cannot just see one cell, not with your naked eye. You cannot see one cell. What you're looking at is thousands, if not millions of cells at a time. You're looking at your whole body, trillions of cells. These cells are all the same. They're all vibrating at the same rate, coming together to create you. You are a community. You are a colony of yourself. Did you know that? Your cells, one cell is you. And the trillions of cells coming together is also you. So when someone has a piece of your hair, when someone gets a drop of your blood, when you exchange fluids with somebody, what you're doing is you're sharing yourself with them because you're sharing your cells with them. So how does that connect to vibrations? When two things come together, when two things come together, they are looking to match each other in vibration, meaning they're looking to match each other in rate, in speed, in frequency. They're looking to match the vibration. When they cannot match for whatever reason, this is where you get disharmony. This is where you get tension. This is where you get there's a word, a musical term, I can't. Dissonance. There it is. This is where you get dissonance from, because the two aren't able to work together for whatever reason. That we can go down the list of a bunch of reasons, and maybe I have to help you understand, assuming that you don't understand. I hope y'all get what I'm putting down. And so the law of vibration says everything is vibrating, and only certain things can manifest under certain vibrations. So happiness is a vibration. Sadness is a vibration. Abundance is a vibration. Confidence is a vibration. Love is hate is a vibration. I'll go on and on. Money is a vibration, right? Beauty is a vibration. Everything is a vibration. Everything has a vibrational component to it. And so when you want something, you first have to know how it vibrates. A rock is a vibration. A human is a vibration. A fish is a vibration. Birds are a vibration, right? Everything has a vibration. And if that sounds crazy to you, I want you to understand this is not belief. This is science. This is universal law. Everything has a vibration. Some vibrations are able to be manipulated. So for all intents and purposes, you will always be a human. Your human vibration, the vibration that makes you human, as far as we understand, cannot be changed. Now, there'll be some people who can say that that's wrong. You can turn into other things. Now, I don't know. I've never done it. I've heard some stories. I've never done it, though. But I have heard some stories. People turning into cats, people turning into dogs, turning into something else. How do they turn into something else? It's easy to say, oh, it's magic, it's witchcraft, it's whatever. Sure, fine, whatever. What it is, though, it is the manipulation of vibrations. It is the manipulation of vibrations. And so, for all intents and purposes, let's just say you cannot change your human vibration, though that could be challenged. Some can. What you can do is change other types of vibrations. Your money vibration, your love vibration, your sickness. Sickness is a vibration, right? You can change all of those, and there are things that help you, because remember, you're trying to match. So let me help you here. If you want to feel sad, play some sad music, right? When you play the sad music sound is a vibration. And certain sounds create certain vibrations, certain moods. And so the music that we deem sad, when you hear it, it creates a sad environment. And if you're in that environment, you are going to want to match that environment. So even though you may not actually feel sad internally, because of the power, that's what makes music powerful. Remember, the word power just simply means the ability to make change. That's all power means. Music is powerful because music has the ability to change you. Now, if it could change you in terms of your mood, it might also be able to change you in terms of your mindset. It might also be able to change you in terms of your sickness, turn you from sickness into health, or even healthy into sick, because music is powerful. And the intentions you put on it determines the outcome that you get from it. So when it comes to vibrations, music is powerful in that if you play sad music, you're going to feel sad. Even if you don't want to, you got to fight hard to not feel what the music is producing, because your body, your being, every cell wants to match the vibrations of the music. Likewise, if you want to be happy, you put on the happy music. Or if you are in the presence of happy music, you're going to get happy. Have you ever tried to be angry or sad when happy music is playing, you feel that tension. You feel that dissonance because everything in you wants to match the music. The music isn't trying to change to you. The music isn't trying to become sad to match you. You're trying to match the music and you're fighting against it. You're resisting it. And that creates discourse, that creates dissonance, that creates disharmony. And you can literally feel the fight. Why? Because we're having clashing vibrations. So when vibrations clash in that way, that's when you feel that tension. This is why this isn't so. Okay, I'll move on to the next one. Hope y'all still with me. The next one is the law of attraction. We've all heard of the law of attraction. Well, we all probably have heard of it by now. If you haven't heard of the law of attraction, I don't know where you've been. So the law of attraction says you attract whatever vibration you're currently in. Now that's powerful. If you are vibrating from a place of depression, then you're going to attract more depressing things. If you're vibrating from a state of happiness, then you're going to attract more happiness. If you're vibrating from a place of abundance, then you're going to attract more abundance. There is a law in physics that says, okay, good. My mom said something. She said opposite attracts. Now, let's clear that up about the opposite attracting. Opposites, what I say is, I actually might have this in my course too. And y'all get it for free. Look at you. Comparable opposites attract. Comparable opposites, meaning they have to be the same thing, but on different sides of the same thing versus polar opposites. Polar opposites do not attract, they repel. So when you have a negative charge and a positive charge, they attract. I know somebody's already thinking, well, those are polar opposites. They're not. They're both charges. See that? Charge attracts charge. Now, negative charge attracts, because when something's not charged, there's no attraction there. And I know y'all probably never even thought about that. But if something is not charged, then there is no attraction, there is no repelling, because they're not the same. Charge attracts charge. Then the comparative, the compatible opposites, that's the word. The compatible opposites attract to create a completion, to create a wholeness, to create a union. Because one has something that the other one is lacking, and because they're both charges, they're going to attract each other to now complete it. But they both have to first be charged. You see what I'm saying? So really, it's the charges that are attracting each other, and then they come together based off of what side of they are in the compatible spectrum. All right. So how does that work? See, love attracts love. Love attracts love. Lust attracts lust. Right? So when you just want to get your freak on, you're going to attract people who just want to get their freak on. But if you want love, you're going to attract people that want love. If you want company, you're going to attract people that's going to keep you company. Here's the thing. You attract what you're vibrating at. So if you want love, that's not enough to attract love. You have to be vibrating in love to attract love. If you're vibrating in abandonment, then you're going to attract people who also vibrate in abandonment. And this is why it seems like everybody keeps leaving you. Like no matter what happens, everybody just keeps leaving. Why do they keep leaving me? Because you are vibrating in a state of abandonment. And so you're attracting those who are in agreement with that vibration in some shape, form, or fashion. Now, as human beings in this realm, we vibrate on multiple levels. It's very complex. It's like a muddy thing if you don't know how to separate it. But there is a point where you have to acknowledge that something in you resonates with abandonment. That's why therapy is so important, or hate or lust, whatever it is. Therapy is important because that's what helps you heal in those spaces, so you no longer vibrate on that level. But you can ignore it on a conscious level. Remember, this has nothing to do with what you believe. This is the way the world works. So you can ignore it. You can act like it doesn't exist. You could call it something different. If you're vibrating on that level, you are going to attract the compatible opposite of that, whatever that is. So this is why when you are intentional in vibrating in love, then you're only going to be attractive to other people who are looking for love. So let me help you out here. Because this is so good. I just need y'all to just try it, right? We talk about men who like to dog women, right? That's like a major thing. Men who like to use women as sexual objects. Some women don't get used as sexual objects. And I know some of y'all are going to say I'm victim blaming, but that's not what I'm doing. I'm not trying to blame the victim. What I'm trying to do is help you understand how the vibrations work. There are some women that vibrate on a certain frequency where these men don't look at them as sexual objects. These men, they don't even notice them. They walk past them. They don't give them the attention because they're not vibrating on that level of lust. Now we got to be honest. Some of us, we vibrate on a level and we don't want to admit that is the state that we're in. But our lives are testifying of the state and the space in which we continue to vibrate because we keep attracting it. When you keep, those of you who, it's like you keep getting close, but then it always falls apart at the end, that's because you are vibrating consistently in a space of doubt and fear. I want to help you. Doubt and fear will cause everything to fail because you don't believe that it will work. And no matter how many times you want to say you believe, within you, you don't. And then you attract only the things that will prove you to be true. Think about that. Think about how the universe is designed to prove you right. You're always going to be right. You're always going to attract what you are. If you have a fear of losing your job, it's only a matter of time until you lose your job. Unless you change your vibration before it actually manifests, it's only a matter of time until you lose your job. You got a fear of losing your business, it's only a matter of time until you lose your business. You have a fear, whatever your fear is, because your fear, so you attract what you are, but let me make it more full. You attract the greatest vibration in you. So whatever you vibrate, okay, yes, thank you. Whatever you vibrate the hardest and the most consistently, the hardest and the most consistently, that is what you attract. So you might have moments of doubt, that's fine. But if you are living in a consistent state of doubt, your moments of motivation is not going to be enough to override the consistent doubt you've been vibrating in. And so you're only going to attract that which you vibrate the hardest and the most consistent in. And so as you vibrate in love, then you have your moments of hate or whatever, apathy, whatever. You have your moments of those, but you are in a consistent state of love. Then love is what's going to come more consistently. You're going to constantly manifest more love because you're constantly vibrating in that love. And it's your job. So now when you know this, now watch this. When you know this, now it is your job to choose and to set the atmosphere that will have you vibrate on what you want to attract. Now it's your job to make it happen. Okay, here's a question. Is being in a consistent state of doubt the same as depression? Very good question. Very good question. So depression is actually the state of non-activity, right? Depression is about the term is in the tip of my tongue, but I can't get it out. It's like depression says, I don't want to do anything. I don't want to do anything. I want to I don't even really want to be. I don't want anything. That's depression, right? It's consistently pressing down, if you will, depressing. Versus anxiety is like a constant awareness of everything. Depression is a constant like pressing down, like it's like a weight that holds you down. So doubt and depression are not necessarily the same. Doubt can lead to depression, and sometimes depression might lead to doubt, because if you suffer with depression, and notice what I said, if you suffer with depression, because you might get depressed once in a while. We all get depressed once in a while. Well, because you're not consistently being or getting depressed, then you don't suffer with depression. Listen to what I'm saying. Some things are depressing. Some things are depressing. And remember, if something is depressing, then you will try to match the vibration of the thing that surrounds you. Right? That's how we're wired. We're wired to match each other's energy. But we match the energy, we always match the stronger energy, right? We will always match the stronger energy. So if somebody is like a real happy person, they're real happy, they're real happy. Even a depressed person will get happier just because they walked into the room, because their happiness is so much more powerful than their depression. But now, let's say someone is always depressed and that depression is strong. Then happy people will start to feel drained, because the depression is so much more stronger than their happiness. But we will always match the stronger vibration. So your job is to magnify the vibration that you want, because if you are the light and your light is shining bright, then your light will always overpower the darkness, right? But if you try to change somebody else, you're gonna find yourself changing. It's like a cup of cold water. You put a drop of hot water in it. Did it change the water? Yes. Did it significantly change the water? No. You got a cup of hot water. You put a drop of cold water in it. Does it change the water? Yes. Does it significantly change the water? No. Because what needs to happen is there needs to be if you want that hot water to be cold, there needs to be a greater amount of cold water poured in. Does that make sense? Because all you do when you put that cold water in the hot water, and it's just a little bit, all you're going to do is heat up that cold water. That's all you're going to do. You're always going to match the stronger energy. You're always going to match the greater energy. So now, am I saying that this is going to be easy to be intentional in setting your vibrations? No, I'm not saying it's going to be easy, especially if you're not used to doing it. This is why a lot of times we cannot do things based off of how we feel. We have to condition ourselves to have our feelings align with what we're trying to vibrate. Man, okay, good. Anita says, got it. The water example definitely clicked. Perfect, beautiful. I want this thing to be clear, and y'all need to talk to me. Let me know that y'all with me. So if you wake up and you don't feel like doing anything, I understand that. I really do. Why don't you feel like doing something? Oh yeah, hold on. Before I go there, let me go back. Some things are depressing. I was there. Some things are depressing. If the thing is depressing and you get depressed, guess what? That's healthy. That's healthy. You're experiencing a depressing situation. The proper response to a depressing situation is to be depressed. You're healthy. You're not suffering from depression. You're suffering from you're suffering from depressing situations. Because when your situation changes, then your depression goes away. So you're not suffering. You don't have you're not suffering from depression. That is not your struggle. Your situation might be your struggle, and so you need to work on changing your situation. Then you won't be depressed anymore, right? Beautiful. There are some people where there is nothing depressing going on, and they're feeling depression. That is suffering with depression. When everything is going right, everything is going how it's supposed to go, and yet they feel weighted down. They feel just unmotivated, completely just they don't want to do anything. That is when you are actually suffering with depression. And so when you're in that state, now the question is why? It could be childhood issues that aren't resolved. And so when everything is going right, your brain is going back to resolving these childhood issues that were depressing. That's what trauma is. Trauma traps you in the past. Trauma traps you in a moment. Trauma traps you in a situation that is resolved, but it's not resolved within you. That's trauma. You get into a car accident and you're safe, but your body didn't catch up to it. Your mind didn't catch up to it. And so you will have moments where you feel like you're still in the accident. That's trauma. That's trauma. Something bad happens to you when you're young, your body responds to that. It's trapped in that moment. That's trauma. And so some of us, our depression has to deal with stuff that happened to us in the past. If we want to no longer be depressed, we got to heal from the trauma in the past. And when we heal from that, then our body will catch up to our present. And if our present is not depressing, we won't be depressed. Some of us, our depression comes from the chemical balances in our mind, in our brains, rather. Our brains aren't balanced chemically for whatever reason. For whatever reason. In those cases, medication and diet, exercise, there's other things that can help balance that stuff out. Right? And so you got to be faithful in those things so that you're not depressed. Whatever the case is, if everything is going well in your life or relatively well and you're feeling depressed, then you can say you suffer with depression. But if your life sucks and you're depressed about it, honey, you are healthy. And I know most people, they're not willing to, we don't talk about it like that. But everybody doesn't have a quote unquote mental illness. And I put it on quotes because I don't want to offend somebody to feel ill if they don't feel ill, right? But everybody's not suffering from a mental illness. Some of us, we are responding just right to our situations. Okay, may you please talk about fight, flight, freeze, trauma responses. Okay, I'll talk about it real quick. So when you are in a, when you perceive yourself, because it's no longer about reality, it's about perception. When you perceive that you are in a state of danger, whether it's real or not, your body, the instincts of your body is either going to fight the danger, run from the danger, or freeze. Because freezing sometimes gets translated as, if I do nothing, maybe I could survive this. That's the quote unquote logic that goes on. But you might fight it, you might run from it, or you might just freeze. So I'll give you an example. Let's say you're chilling in a tent, and then you see something ruffle underneath your sleeping bag, right? Something ruffled under your sleeping bag. You saw that ruffle. You saw that. Some of you, you're gonna run, right? Some of you, you're gonna stomp that. You're gonna stomp. You're gonna stomp on that part of the sleep, but you're fighting now. Now you're fighting, right? The running, that's the flight. The stomping, that's the fight. Then some of you, you're gonna just stop. You're gonna freeze, eyes open, like, what was that? And you're not gonna move. Now, you don't know what's under the sleeping bag. And quite frankly, it doesn't matter what's under the sleeping bag. Your mind and your body believes it's in danger. And because it believes it's in danger, it responds either by fighting, fleeing, or freezing. Now, the way it's supposed to go is at the end, When you get safe, whatever safe is, you might lift up the sleeping bag and see, it was nothing. Somebody playing a prank on you or whatever. Or you might see that it was a snake and the snake went slithering away. Whatever the case is, you're no longer in danger. When you're no longer in danger, you're supposed to feel a sense of safety. You're supposed to feel like you're home again, right? You're supposed to feel like the situation is over, a sense of relief. Right? That sigh, that deep. And then you can reflect on it and be like, yo, that was crazy. Oh, yeah, man, this thing was just going under me, right? And you won't re-experience it because you reach that place of resolve. Your mind and your body knows you're safe. For some people, they never get there. They get trapped in feeling like they're still going through it. And because everybody's situation is different, I used a very minor situation. Everybody's situation is different. Some people, they get trapped there because it was repetitive. Most people, they get trapped there because it was just that impactful. Remember, the strongest, right? And so depression, so anxiety is being in constant fight, flight, freeze mode. Anxiety is constantly in a space of feeling like something is wrong. Like something, like not just wrong, but that you have to be alert. You have to always be in alert. That is anxiety. And what causes anxiety could be a plethora of things, right? How do you ease your anxiety? You create an atmosphere that is calming. You create an atmosphere that is safe, because the atmosphere you create, that's the vibrations. And you will have you are wired to match vibrations. See how it all comes together? Now, if you can't do it yourself, then you get some help, you get some assistance to help you create an atmosphere that is in favor with how you're trying to live. Am I saying that it's easy? No. Am I saying that's all you need to do? No. But medicine changes your vibrations as well. Don't think that medicine is away from the energy talk. No. Medicine can change your vibration. Why do you think, people who smoke weed, they say they're getting high, right? The chemicals, it's THC, right? The THC, well, it's other chemicals as well, but THC is being the most famous one. The chemicals, they are changing the way your mind perceives reality, and your mental vibrations is changing. And because your mental vibrations are changing, you are now seeing things differently. And because you're seeing things differently, you are responding differently because you're trying to match the energy. All right. My mom said, how do you overcome phobia? It depends on the phobia. It depends on the phobia. The every and how you got the phobia, right? So there's so many answers to that. This is the realm in which you would then go speak with a therapist or even a coach or a counselor about the specifics. But I do recommend therapy because it depends on how you got the phobia. So if you're afraid of the water, let's say, black folks hate swimming, right? But not all black folks know. You grew up in the Caribbean, you're not that afraid of the water, unless you had a traumatic experience in the water. See? So if your phobia comes from a traumatic experience, then you're going to have to work through that. You're going to have to get healing from that. And you may never get over it. It might be so traumatic that the best thing you could do is learn how to deal with the water, but you may never be comfortable in the water because of just how traumatic it was. You could have lost a friend, or you might have almost drowned, whatever the case is. All depends on the phobia. Some of us, we have phobias that were passed down to us, right? So a lot of us are scared of spiders, and a spider ain't never did nothing to you. A spider ain't ever did not a thing to you, and yet you're scared of it. Why are you scared of it? That was passed down. That was conditioned. You probably saw somebody else scared of it when you was really, really young, and you was taught that you should be scared of this. But if most people, most of us are conditioned in that way to be scared of snakes. But then again, some of us are conditioned to not be. I've seen some country folks, man. They'll grab a snake by the tail and fling it. They ain't worried. They ain't got no fears about it. I'm a city boy. I see a snake, Listen, you're gonna see some things come out of me. If I see a snake, I ain't grow up around snakes. That ain't me. You know what I mean? So yeah, I am all right. So my mom said Mr. Monk is afraid of everything. Height, hill, yes. Mr. Monk has a condition though. And his condition got worse when Trudy died. And I'm not gonna spend too much time on that because everybody ain't a Monk fan, right? But the traumatic experience of the death of his wife caused his condition to get worse, right? Remember, Monk has a brother who also has a similar condition. So there's something within the household or within the genetics that is causing this to manifest, because genetics is energy, environment is energy. We are going to match the energy. See what I'm saying? Trauma gets passed down. I think we all know that, right? Trauma gets passed down. So especially for those who come from a lineage of enslaved, right? And the way that these Africans were treated, some of that trauma gets passed down to us. And so we respond to certain environments and even people based off of the trauma of our ancestors. But if we don't know that, then we can't deal with it. When we learn that, when we understand that, now we can deal with that. Now we can begin to now work through those traumas. But they're constantly trying to they are constantly trying to keep us in that traumatic episode. That's why they show us images of police today being on horseback, carrying, pulling people, criminals, black criminals, on a rope while the police is sitting on a horse. They keep showing us these images because they understand that it's going to trigger our ancestral traumas. They keep showing us black people being lynched and shot. You think they're trying to keep you aware of what's happening. No, they're trying to keep you in a consistent traumatic episode so that you will have a consistent fear of them and not rise up to the occasion. Yeah, that's the secret. Look, my time is actually up because I can keep going, and I didn't deal with all the laws. So I'm going to do a part 2. But the law of oneness, the law of vibration, the law of attraction, I hope those were at least very clear. When my mom said, my mom is afraid of everything she sees, danger everywhere. Yeah. And, your mom probably went through something very traumatic and hasn't had the chance to really process it. Because as black folks, we don't really process our traumas. We ignore them. And that needs to stop. That needs to stop. We need to start processing the traumas that happen to us. We need to start putting language to our experience. That's what makes art so powerful. Man, we talk about vibrations, energy. Art is energy. I talked about music, but art, visual art is energy. Poetry, words is energy. All these things play a role on how we will vibrate. What are you listening to? What are you saying out of your mouth? Some of you don't even realize that the words that you're constantly choosing, the scripture, um, death and life is in the power of the tongue, and those who know shall eat the fruit thereof, or something like that. Some of you say things that put you in a consistent poverty state, in a state of consistent lack, because you speak a way that tells you that this is the best you're gonna get, and it's like the lowest of the low. You don't even realize. You'll say things like, "Oh, I can never catch a break." Well, then you'll never catch a break. If it's not one thing, it's another. Then yeah, another is gonna come. You are vibrating in that frequency. You are inviting it. And so it's going to keep coming. It's going to keep coming because you are vibrating there. And I know sometimes you feel like that, but shut your mouth. Sometimes you gotta shut your mouth until you figure out what to say and how to say it. Because when something happens, you can say, this is very inconvenient, but I always get through it. Right? Just adding that, but I'll always get through it. Just that alone sets you in a different vibration. If you can be consistent and truly believe that now this is belief, right? Because your belief, man, I'm gonna end, but I gotta share it because this is good. Your belief impacts your vibration. So now I told you the universal laws, doesn't matter what you believe, this is how they work. But now your belief will influence how it works in your life. Okay, let me say that again because I probably lost somebody. The universal laws are universal. Doesn't matter what you claim to believe, these are how the universal laws work. But what you believe influences how they will work in your life. And so when you learn how to believe for the best, when you learn how to believe, it's like the scripture says, set your minds on things above where Christ is, because where Christ is, that's where you are. When you believe that, then you vibrate as somebody who is heavenly bound. You vibrate as somebody who is above all of the madness. You vibrate as somebody who is not shackled down by sin, but is freed from sin. So when you set your minds on things above, you vibrate on those higher things. The lower things become nothing to you. You will no longer be attractive to the lower things, and you will no longer be attracted to the lower things because you have set your mind on things above. See, so the scriptures is teaching you the law of attraction and the law of vibration. It's just not saying that, but it teaches you how to utilize it, right? But it's your job to utilize it. But when you set your minds on the lowly things, then you're going to vibrate on those lowly things. That's why you always do the things you trying to not do. When you focus on not doing something, it is the same as focusing on doing it, because the thing is your focus. So if you want to quit smoking, you can't focus on quitting smoking, because then you're going to smoke, because that's all that's on your mind is smoke, 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 smoke. Don't smoke, it's still smoke. You got to figure out something else to do. Set your mind on stretching, set your mind on dieting, set your mind on reading, set your mind on whatever else, because that then becomes your vibration. And when that becomes your vibration, then you no longer attract it. You'll no longer, do the thing that you're consistently doing. Now, will you have triggers that will cause you to think about it? Of course. But then you become intentional in changing those vibrations so you can attract what you want to bring. All right. I'm going to do a part 2. I'm going to pray. I'm still going to do a quick reflection. I hope this was clear to y'all. Y'all ain't say too much, but I hope this made some sense. And I hope you wasn't quiet simply because you don't agree and you didn't want to cause no mess. Listen, if you don't agree, I need to hear the parts of disagreement so that we can get clarity together as a community. I don't need a bunch of yes people. I need to know where is the part that's difficult for you to believe or to agree so that we can work through it together. Right? Because this stuff can change your life if you really understand it. But for now, I'm going to give you some homework. Remember, you're a child of God. Well, no, let's do it. Let's do it. Breathe in. Breathe out. Do it again. Breathe in through your nose. Out through your mouth. Repeat after me. Say, I am a child of God, and I am worthy to receive this word. Let's say it again. I am a child of God, and I am worthy to receive this word. All right, now, you're a child of God. You are a child of God. When you say that and you believe that, that sets you in a particular type of vibration. You start walking and thinking and talking like somebody who knows that their divine parent is the creator of all things. Now, I love walking. I love feeling like that. I love walking into a space like, yeah, I am God's favorite. It does something. I perform better. I need y'all to learn how to get that in your spirit. You could be God's favorite too. It's okay. As siblings, we should be able to fight. No, God favors me. No, God favors me. We should be able to argue because he's been so good to both of us. Come on. There's enough for all of us. It ain't no competition about who's getting more blessings. God is blessing us so much that we just believe he gotta be favoring me, because look at all that he's been given. Look at all that he's been doing. Look at all that's been happening by his grace and his mercy. Yeah. You got to receive that thing. You are a child of the King, a child of the Most High God. Hallelujah. Now, your assignment, I want you to try to see how being connected to everything affects you. The law of oneness. That was the original law, the law of oneness. You are connected to everything. So I want you to now be observant throughout the week. How am I connected to the things around me? How am I connected to the things that are distant? How am I connected to the things seen and unseen? Remember, it says that Christ is the one who creates and sustains. Through your connection to Christ, you are connected to all things. I want you to kind of figure out what that looks like, what that feels like, how to sense that. Do you find yourself by now being intentional with that understanding? Do you find yourself being more empathetic with those around you? Do you find people being more empathetic with you? It's as if they know what you're going through, right? I want you to do some homework and really just look, just really look. Law of vibration. I want you to ask yourself or try to see how intentional you've been in setting a particular vibration. Pay attention to the words that you say. Maybe some of you, you need to record yourself just talking in general. Like you're not actually talking on the recording, but you're just talking in general. And then go back and just listen to some of the stuff that you say. Maybe you should record your next phone conversation and then go back and listen to it and see the stuff that you say that you didn't even mean to say. How do you start your day? Do you start your day? Now, I'm talking about starting your day. Do you start your day setting a vibration that says you can do it all? Or do you start your day with a burden and say, "Oh, I got so much to do. I don't know how I'm gonna get it all done." Just think about, I don't know how I'm gonna get it all. That's depressing. And you wonder why you have no energy, why you can't get through the day. You started your day depressed. I had my children do an affirmation. Today is a new day. Today I will have new opportunities, right? I have there's an affirmation that my kids say every morning. Do they understand why they're saying it every morning? No, not now. But when they get older, they're gonna understand, oh, we gotta set our intentions for the day. We say our affirmation and then we pray. That's what I do every morning with my kids. We say our affirmation and then we pray. I want to make sure that they start the day knowing day by day, every day, I'm getting better. Today is a different day from yesterday, right? I want to teach my children that whatever happened yesterday, today is a different day from. So I don't care. Yesterday could have been the worst day ever. Everything went wrong yesterday, but guess what? You woke up today. Today is a different day from yesterday. It's a part of their affirmation. I want them. I don't want them to hold on to the stuff that happened days and days in the past. I want them to know that today's different, and for that to work, I have to treat them like today's different. So I can't hold on to the stuff they did in the past as a parent. You see the practicality? If I treat them like who they were yesterday, then how is today any different than yesterday? I have to treat them like today is a new day. That's right. I have to treat them like today is different from that. So I have to be intentional in letting go of whatever frustrations they gave me the day before, if they gave it to me. Because I have some really good kids. I love my kids. They don't do me like how some of y'all kids be doing y'all. I think it's an energy thing. I think it's a vibrational thing. And I'm joking, but also kind of serious, right? You might not realize as parents the vibrations you're setting that your kids are responding to. You think they're creating it? No, they're responding to the greater authority. All right, let me get out that. And now I'm touching on some toes, and some of y'all gonna get offended. So let me just stop right there. Just be intentional. I want your homework. I want you to see the vibrations that you've been setting. And then the last thing, I want you to see what you've been attracting based on the vibration you were setting. When something bad happens, do you have that sense of I knew it? Because if you have that sense of I knew it, that means you attracted it. Remember, the energy, the universe is designed to make you right. The universe is designed to make you right. So if you knew it, the universe has to make sure you don't look like a liar. And the universe is going. God set it up that way. See, I know because Christians don't like when we talk about the universe. Okay, the universe is a created thing according to Christian thought, absolutely. But the universe is a servant to humans. Okay, as far as this realm is concerned, the universe is a servant. The universe goes and gets what you ask and brings it to you. By the authority and design of God, the universe is going to get whatever you're asking for. It's just like how if you go to Cheddar's and the waiter got something that you asked for, the Cheddar's paid that person to do that. So you say thank you to Cheddar's for having the resources to provide someone there to get you what you're asking for. So yes, give all glory to God, but don't make no mistake. God has forces working on God's behalf to ensure you get what you're asking for. And God does not want you to look like a liar. And so whatever you say, whatever you believe, God gonna make sure it comes to pass. That's how you've been attracting it. So just pay attention. Pay attention. What mindset have you been? What have you been believing that allows these things to just come your way? Because look, when something bad happens to me, I'm shocked. You hear me? I'm shocked. I'm like, where did this come from? I'm flabbergasted. Where? Because I don't have my mind set on the bad. So I'm surprised. And then I set my mindset, but I'm gonna get through this. Because I've always gotten through this. There's not one bad thing that's happened in my past that I haven't overcome. So what makes this any different? That's the mindset I set within myself. Ask yourself, what are you attracting based on your mindset? All right, let's pray. Father God in heaven, this was good in a lot of ways. Oh, Lord, you already know, God, help your people, help them to really understand that they are so powerful. And that sometimes they're working against themselves and they're confused as to what's going on, and they don't realize they're doing it to themselves. And this is not the victim blame. I'm not blaming the victim, but God, I want you to help them to see that they can take more control than what they've been taking. They could be more intentional than they've been. They've been attracting their greatest fears because that's all they've been focusing on is their fears. They never really spent time to dwell in the possibilities of things going right. They might think about it here and there, but that fear just got them gripped. Lord, set them free from the fear. Lord, what are they listening to that's encouraging the fear? God, may they stop listening to it. Whether it be a song, whether it be a sister, whether it be a sermon, Lord, whatever it is, whoever it is that is constantly introducing them to fear, rehearsing fear in their life, Lord, may it cease, God. And may they begin to listen to things that promote abundance and possibility. Because we can do all things through Christ who strengthens us. You give us strength, God. More every morning, new mercies I see. We can do it, Lord. We can do it. You split the Red Sea. You've caused manna to fall from heaven. You supply all of our needs according to your riches. What are we? If God be for us, who can be against us? What are we afraid of, God? Lord, release us, Lord. Release us from the doubt. You've been so good before. Why are we doubting now? Set your people free, God. Help them to set their intentions, their vibrations, so that they may attract what is worthy to them, because they are your children. They deserve nothing but the best of things in life. So do that for them. We ask in Jesus' name, who is the creator and sustainer of all things. And to that we say amen and amen. All right. You guys are officially dismissed. Once again, if y'all have some questions, hit me up, because this is not your typical presentation. Yeah, I normally try to pull something from the Bible, but I want to have this conversation about universal law. I've been wanting to have it for a while, so I figured why not today? Let's just get started. I'm gonna continue this next week because it's important. This is truly, truly important. But you guys are officially dismissed. Peace.